Okay, so let me open my terminal. Okay, so today we are going to see how we define variables. Okay, so again, variables are very important. Whenever you are working on shell scripting or Linux, you will be using variables a lot many times. So variables are like any same variable that you normally see in any of the programming languages. So whether you are working on whether PL SQL or Python or any other languages, everywhere you will see variables. So same way in shell also you define variables. Okay, so before we see variables, so there is a command called as echo. If you have seen, I've been using echo command multiple times, right? So what is this echo command? So echo command is basically used to print something on the screen. Okay, sorry. So let's say if I want to simply print Manchu, so if I want to print something directly on my screen, so what I can do, I can simply go ahead and mention echo Himanshu. So what it will do, it will print the particular pattern or the content what I wanted to print on the screen directly. Okay, so echo is simple command to print anything. Okay, so echo, if I go ahead and want to print anything, so you can print longer also. Date is 15 July 21. Okay, so it will simply print whatever you have mentioned there. It will be printed directly on your screen. Okay, with echo again, you might see there would be some options for echo command. Okay, there might be some options of the echo command. So let's say I want to use echo, and let's say I will use the same, but if I want that, okay, I want to remove the all the spaces, okay, whatever spaces are there in between this. So what I will do, B, and let's say I want to use /B. So but by default, if I run like directly like this, it will just treat it as a normal string. Okay, and it will print \B, whereas \B is an option to remove the spaces between the text. Okay, but how echo will interpret it? So to interpret, what I have to give, I have to give an option as -e. Okay, so what it will do, it has removed between this date and is, and it has removed space between 15 and July. Getting it? Okay, so it will go ahead and do it. So now let's say if you are seeing it here, whenever I am printing like this, okay, whenever I am going ahead and printing like this, what it is doing, it is printing in a new line. By default, echo will print in a new line. This is my terminal and this is the new line, and again a new terminal command prompt which is shown here at below location. Now if you want that, okay, don't show me a new line. Okay, so what you will do, you can go ahead and simply use something called as C. Okay, so see what it has shown me. It has removed this content and only shown me till here, and after this it has removed, and again the command prompt terminal will be displayed in the same screen itself. Okay, it will only display this much content but in the same line. It has not opened up a new line for that printing and then again opened a new line for command shell. It will not do, it will print in the same line. Okay, with \C. Okay, getting it? Now let's say I do something like n. Okay, so -e is option. is important. If you will not give hyphen e, it will not interpret these options that you are giving here. So hyphen e parameter is important for this to interpret. Now if I am doing backslash n, okay, so what it will do, it will print everything in new line. It will treat this as first line, then it will say okay, go to a new line, then print this much is 15, and then says okay, go to a new line and then print this much. Okay, so all these will be printed here in a new line. So 3 things are printed, but 3 different lines. Okay, got it? Okay, now with the same we have seen B, C, N. Okay, now we have T. Okay, T is for tab, so it will keep the data in tab separated. So see, there is a tab separated here, they are tab separated, so the content will be tab separated between these, so that will be a tab separated command. Okay, so here the content is tab separated. Clear? See, normally if you are printing, it was just in the same line without any normal space, but here it will be actually a tab separated. Okay, see, a tab separated is there. Got it? Hyphen e is actually interpreting. See, if I don't give hyphen e, sorry, if I don't give this option hyphen e, see, it will not know what is backslash t. Okay, it will not be able to define. See, when I defined it here, it actually meant that insert a tab. See, it inserted a tab, right? But if I am not giving hyphen e, so echo by default will just treat everything inside your double quotes as to print as it is. So it will just print as it is on the screen. Okay, so it is just printing you as whatever option is there, it will print as it is on the screen. Okay, yeah, that is a carriage. Okay, that will remove, after this it will remove this content and it will not display in a new line here. See, whenever I am printing here, what is happening, it is printing in a new line, right, and then a new command prompt is displayed on the screen, right, on a new line. But when I will use, let's say I will use it here only C. Okay, only C. So what it will print, it will only print me this content, date. It will remove everything after that and only in the same line. See, oh, I have not given E. So hyphen E for interpreting. So see, it has just printed me till here before the C arrives. So after C it will not print anything, and where it will just print in the same line itself. Okay, the next line it will be printed same, and then the command prompt will be also printed in the same. By default, else what it was doing, it was printing in a new line and the command prompt was displayed in a new line after that. Okay, but here it will be in the same line. Clear? Is it clear? Okay. Okay, so these are the various options that you might see. Okay, now let's say we have seen tab, just now we saw tab, right? Now there is something called as V. See, if you go echo help, you will get many options. Okay, there are many options that you might use. Okay, and now is V. So what V will do, it will do a vertical tab spaces. Okay, vertical means it will go into slanting. I will show you. So see, now it is going into vertical, each new line, but in a vertical direction. Only tab was doing here, it was inserting a tab here in the same line, whereas slash V will give the feature of tab and the new line both together. Okay, so V is your combination of your new line that we earlier saw and your tab together. So first will be the first, then it will go slash V, so it will go to new line with a tab. Okay, so it will be tab delimited here, then again a tab delimited based on the previous one. Clear? Okay, so this way you can go ahead and see. Now with echo you can have one more option. If I do echo star, so what it will show? It will show you all the files and directories directly here on your screen. Like we have these files, right? One directory, this is one directory, and rest of the files. So if I just am doing echo star, it will show me the names of all the files and directories. Got it? Okay. Now apart from if, let's say what we are doing here, what we just now asked C, right? So C was like removing after the characters after /C, but if you want without a new line but in the same, so see it has printed everything here only, and the command prompt also printed in the same line. So you can give option as echo -n. Okay. So based on that there are various options for the specific echo commands. Okay, you can view the man and you will get various options, but these are the ones that you normally use. So new line you might use, the tab separator you might use. Okay, so those are the some important ones that we normally use. So like the new line N1 you normally use a lot. Okay, that are normally used most of the places. Now next is, so this is how the echo is working, right? So what echo we are using? Echo is for printing anything on your screen, and we will in future we will see how we will use this to insert that particular content from echo to a file also. Okay, but for now echo is printing everything on your screen. So this screen output, what is you are seeing here, the gray color, that is called as a standard output. Okay, so that's why we say whenever echo is printing, it is printing on a standard output. Got it? Okay. Now before that, let's say, okay, before that, so let's say before I start variable, so just now what I was showing you, that we were using double quotes everywhere, right? Echo double quotes, right? Echo double quotes, right? Now there are few more quotes with echo that you can use, and that are quite useful. Okay, that are called as back quotes. If you see, these back quotes are there on your tilde sign. Okay, where your tilde sign is there, same way back quotes below your escape character, escape key. This is a back quotes. So these are called back quotes. And then we have single quotes. Okay, so there is a difference between your double quotes, single quotes. So let me open the document. Just a second. Quotes you have back quotes, double quotes, and single quotes. Normally in Word it looks like lick, but it should be standard single quotes. Okay, it shouldn't be something like these quotes. Okay, normally when you type on terminal, it would be single quotes like this. Okay, straight. Okay, now when we do single quote, okay, and back quote, why we use them? Okay, so with by default always prefer to use double quotes. There is a reason for that, I will tell you. But let's say I have printed the earlier what I was printing, date is 15 July 21, right? But that what I have done, I have hard coded that value, right? I have simply hard coded that value. Let me remove this. Okay, I have hard coded this value, right? So now but I don't want this to be hard coded. I already know there is a command as date, right? So why don't my output should come automatically from this command, correct? I don't need that it should go ahead and hard code these values. These should already be coming from these commands that I already know. Date command, it should directly print today is, date is, and this value along with the timestamp and everything. So what you can do, you can use a back quotes. So if you want to interpret a command whenever you are using, so you have to use a single quote, single back quotes. So how? So let's say I will say date is, and I will say I already know date command is there, right? So I want to execute this date command inside this echo command. Okay, so what I will do, if I just simply write date, it doesn't know what is date, so it will say date is date, correct? But I will say okay, now interpret this date. If I put it inside this back quotes, interpret this back quotes as a command to execute. So what now my interpreter or the compiler will do, it will go ahead and interpret this specific command as a command, execute the output, and then print with echo. Okay, now if I hit enter, you will see it has printed like this. So it has executed the date command as an individual command and then printed on your screen. Clear? Okay, so it's the same way, like if I go ahead and say I am connected via, and what I will do, who am I, right? So now it's a dynamic. So normally these quotes are very important whenever you are using or you want to create something dynamic script. So now if I am doing it, so see, it will say I am connected via Himanshu user. So who am I command is getting executed, whatever is the output, it will store it, and then echo command will print it here with the whole specific command. Clear? Okay. Now why we use a single quotes? Single quotes are basically used for printing directly the string without interpreting anything. Let's say if I do like this, see, as soon as I put single quotes, this will not be treated as a command, this will not be interpreted. As soon as the echo finds and single quotes, it will treat everything as a hard coded string, just a string. It doesn't matter you have back quotes, $sign, any specific keywords of the shell scripting, it doesn't matter. It will just print as it is. Okay, so single quotes are used for hard coding a particular string. So it will be a string by default. Okay, so it doesn't matter what is who am I, it will just print it as it is written inside the single quotes. Clear? Okay, so that's why I prefer to use double quotes, because double quotes will help you if you are writing any specific commands or variables inside a echo or some other specific commands. Okay, so this is how your single quotes, double quotes and the back quote works. Okay, so always double quotes are preferred, so I normally prefer to use double quotes with echo. So in case I have to enter anything, I don't have to change everything, right? I don't have to go ahead and change the quotes and everything later point of time. I can just insert or modify anything inside it. I can add a command or something and it will automatically work. Now coming back to the variables after this, okay, because it will be needed. So right now what we were doing, I was showing you echo $shell, right? So what it is doing, it is printing me the path, okay, where this shell is there. So what is this value? This is a variable that I am trying to print. Whatever variable is by default defined by the system. In the shell system or the bash system, whatever variables are defined, if you want to print their values, so this is the variable name, and if you want to print it, you have to prefix with a $sign and it will show you the output. Clear? So these are predefined or inbuilt variables that comes along with your bash. Okay, so that is one of them, that is the shell variable, right? Yesterday I also showed you echo $hist file. Okay, So it will show me the history file. Where is my history file? Clear? Okay. Now, how do you know how many variables are there? Inbuilt variables. If you want to know how many inbuilt variables are there, how can you see that? Okay. So how will I see that? I will simply go ahead and do a command, simple command, env. Okay, so what it will say? Environment variables. So that are the inbuilt variables. So we also call it as environment variables. Then based on that we create environment files. Okay, so these are environment variables that are inbuilt in the system. Okay, that I have not defined, that are by default in the bash system. I will do enter env. So you will see it will show me lot of various variable values and their values. Okay, what is the SSH client, what is the history size, how many lines it will store. So if I change it to some other value, it will store more history. What is the shell? So this is a shell variable and that is defined to bin bash. Okay, host name is defined. Okay, so even if I do, there is a variable. There was a command host name and there is a variable also host name. Okay, and the command was host name. So they are two different things. Okay, but the value would be same in both. Clear? So these all are the inbuilt variables that are defined in the bash. Clear? So these are not defined by a user. These are defined by the system itself. Clear? Any doubts? Okay. Now let's say I want to define my own variable. Okay, I want to define my own variable. Let's say all my scripts are there in home Himanshu shell script. Okay, I am keeping all the scripts for the class here. So let's say I make a variable as a particular variable name, let's say. So what you have to do in shell scripting, the best thing is that you don't have to worry about the data type of the value that you are going to store. You just have to define a variable and store a value in it. Okay, you don't need to worry about the data type, whether it's a number, whether it's a string, character, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I will just define class files. Variable name can be single also, variable name can be anything, whatever you want, but don't give a space in between. Okay, so class underscore file equal to, I am saying this is the location, shift insert. Okay, so this way you are just defining a variable here. Okay, and hit enter. Got it? So if it has not returned any error, that means the command was successful. Now if I will print the user defined variable that I have defined, you should remember the name at least. What is the name? So it is echo $class file. So now I know this is my path. Clear? Getting it? Yeah. So see, first thing is you can see echo what is the variable value, that means it is defined in the environment. And second, if I do env again, okay, and yeah, plus env. So if I go ahead and do env, okay, so by default it has not come here because this is a local variable that we are defining. Okay, so don't get confused for now. I will show you how to local and what is the global variable. So for now you have just defined this. Now once this variable is defined, whatever you want, if I want, let's say I am at any location, I want to go to directly to my scripts location, I will just do cd $class file. It will take me to that location directly. Okay, or whatever you want to do, you can easily go ahead and do that specific task from that particular location. Okay, so whenever I will say $class file, it will replace it with this variable. Okay, so now let's say in class file I have these files. I want to read any file, let's say file 2. So what I can do, you don't have to go to that location, class underscore file and file2. So see, it can directly read. So when this will be seen, it is treating it as a variable that is defined, and this variable will be replaced with this path home Himanshu shell script, and then inside that it will read file2. Clear? Okay, but if you see, this variable is local. Now if I open one more terminal, see, this was my terminal. If I open this more terminal and if I do echo $class underscore file, there is no such variable, right? Because that variable was defined locally in this bash only. Okay, this was defined in this bash, it was not defined in any other bash. So these are called as local variables. Okay, now how to test that, what is a local and what is a global, we are coming to it. Okay, this much is clear, right? Any doubts? So you can define any number also. Let's say I define x equal to 10. Okay, so and if I do echo $x, so it's case sensitive, okay, and it will be 10. So it will just print that variable and its value. So variable name can be anything, okay, but don't give the keywords like the command, date or anything certain like that. So normal good practice is normally give v underscore and whatever you want. Let's say I want to give v date equal to 20. So this is fine. Echo $date. So it will not print because the variable name was v underscore date, and it will go ahead and show it here. Okay, so recommended is don't give the normal names as the variable names, the keywords that are available. Clear? Okay, now these variables, whatever I am defining, x or v underscore date, class files, these are local variables. Let's say I open one more bash. So to open one more bash, what I can do, bash and enter. So in their same bash shell, it will go into a new bash shell. If I hit enter, you see, now you will see the same screen, but it has actually opened a new bash shell here. Now here if I run the same commands, echo no value, insert no value is there, because these variables are not defined in this bash shell. If I exit from this bash shell, I will come back to my original bash where I have defined the variables that were the local variables, and if I do echo v$date, they are still there because that bash is not closed yet and it is still having those values. Clear? Okay, if you are getting confused, let's say open a normal shell, okay, not bash shell, normal shell, sh. I told you sh, bash, tch, lot of different. So same way sh is also there in normal systems. So I do sh. So see, it has taken me to different type of shell. Okay, it is taken to a different type of shell. Again, these are local variables, so you will not see these outputs there. Yes, it's a interpreter. You can say it's an interpreter. Whatever command you are writing, right? It is an interpreter. Okay, but whatever scripts, remember in shell scripting, whatever scripts you write, they are not stored anywhere. You are just storing it in a file. Only that much you do. It's not like your, let's say, PLC code programming or somewhere where you compile that code and it's there in your system always. You just have to call them. Here you have to run every time, and bash will every time go ahead and read each lines of action items whatever you have defined in the specific script. Okay, any questions? Okay, now if I exit here, I will again come back to my original bash shell. Okay, now these variables whatever we defined, they are local variables that will remain only for this shell. Okay, that are not global, that they will not be globally available. So to make them globally available, what I do, there is, you have to do export z equal to, let's say, I will say hello, right? Now what I have done, echo $z again it is doing the same thing, but I have used a command export. Export means it will be globally available, this variable. Now if I go to my shell sh and if I do echo $z, see here also the value of z is coming, right? So if I want to print something here also, it will print by default. Got it? Okay. So this way the global variables are defined. Okay. Now how the benefit would be there? Let's say now I want to print hello and the username. So I have already defined a variable z here, right? So what I will do, I will say $z. So when I am using the double quotes again, so double quotes will say okay, it is a variable, it will treat it as a variable and interpret it to its value. So its value is what? Hello. So it will be replaced by hello, and then what I am saying, my username. So what is my username? Who am I? Whoever is the user. Okay. So now this command is totally generic. So now what is this doing? Double quotes and echo. So which means it will interpret whatever is written inside it. So first thing is written is called as a variable that we have just now defined. So at least 10 classes we have more. Yes. Yeah, today is what? 15, right? Yes. Now see, all the main programming will start now. These variables and everything that we are learning, right? So it will start now. It would be a little bit confusing, but you will understand once you start practicing it right now. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that will actually help you to practice. So it's just for your learning. It's nothing like related to shell scripting, but yeah, if you know VI, it will be easy for you to write scripts on shell. Okay, so it's like normally you will get VI in most of the environments. No, I think they might be using on the server level, not directly with PL SQL developer, but they might be using for some specific processing, like for us, like in my organization where I work. So the development team, they normally write scripts for some file processing, like the bank files are coming, so they are writing shell scripts. So in case they need help, so they come back to us, okay, in those shell scripts. So mostly what they do, like when you are doing some processing, right? So those processings might be copying some files from one server to other, or they might be pulling the files, copying the files. Once the file is processed, they might be moving it to archive locations, right? So it might be used in different ways. Like shell scripting nowadays and Python, they are used in almost every DevOps projects also, not only PL SQL. So everywhere they are using it. So mostly yeah, automation, like any particular task, it totally depends on you. Okay, like for me, my developer teams or whoever are working on, they are working for developing and doing the development specific task. Okay, and for me, I am handling the infrastructure, so I am doing it for all the infrastructure related things, right? How do I manage my applications, databases, infrastructure, servers, patching and everything? So I am doing it for that purpose, right? If there is some DevOps guy, he will be doing for the specific purpose, right? So it totally depends. but only thing is whatever you do manually, okay, if I do 10 things manually on a script, so I can go ahead and replace that particular action item, manual action item, with a shell script, so that I have to just run one script and it will do all the tasks. Okay, so coming back, so now echo, we were seeing echo and double quotes we are using, remember. Okay, so it will interpret both. So one is a variable, one is a command, right? And now if I hit enter, see what it has done. It has printed me an output. Okay, so these type of scripts, whenever you write, so always I will refer that always use dynamic script. So this script is very dynamic, or whatever this command is doing, right? That whatever is the value of Z or whatever is the value of who am I, so this script will be totally different for each user. Let's say if I switch to user Bob, and if I run the command, same command, right? Okay, so because $Z is not here, so it doesn't know what is $Z. Okay, and who am I, it knows that Bob, so it has printed me that Bob here, right? No, what? Not user, I will tell you how to define it for others also. I am going to tell. Okay, for now it is an a specific global variable only, but you have to make sure that it is sourced in a new environment as well. Okay, so like this you define a variable and the specific codes will be used based on how you want to work on it, right? Now let's say, now this variable, as we just saw, is only available on this shell. Even I say this is a global variable, but still I don't see it in other terminals, right? So main thing is that either I go ahead and mention this in this terminal also, right? I go ahead and mention export z equal to hello. Okay, and if I do echo $z, it will show me, and if I run the same command, it will say hello Bob. Okay, either I can do like this, or coming back, what yesterday we saw something like ls-la. So we saw a history file, right? Apart from history, if you see, there is a file called as .bash profile. Okay, this file is important again to define any of your variables. If you want to define any of your variables, what you can do, you can use this bash profile here. Okay, so this profile, what it will do, it will, whatever variables are defined, that will be available for that user every time whenever the user connects to an SSH connection. So that will be available for that user. So how to do that? Let's say if you will not see a .bash profile, remember there will be file .profile, only .profile. If there is not a .bash profile in environment, some environments they might have not kept it. What I have done, quotes I wrote, quotes, double quotes, backwards, and then .bash underscore profile and .profile. Okay, so in case .bash profile is not there, then profile will be taking the precedence, but if .bash profile is there, it will be used first. Okay, so .bash profile is there, try to use that file only. So now in .bash profile if I want, I can simply edit it. See, these are, that's why hidden file, normally user will not be able to see that. If you know, then only you can make any such changes. Okay, if I do vi.bash profile, so see all the specific file defines are here. Let's say now I want to define a variable export. So you can define in this way also. If you see, first I define a variable like local variable, and then I say export that variable name. But if you want to do in the same line, so what I do, export z equal to hello. Okay, and then I will say export class files equal to my path home slash Himanshu slash what was the shell script. PT. Okay, and you have to just save it. Normal VI editor, what we have learned. So we have defined these two global variables and save it. Okay, but just saving it doesn't mean that this variable is there. Okay, so let's say if I go ahead and see in this terminal, go back to Himanshu, but still it will not be there. Okay, if you will see, it will be there in the file bash profile. If you see this profile, so you will see these entries are there. Okay, but if you go ahead and open a new, let's say su-bob 3 and su-himanshu again, this bash profile is specific to the user. Okay, so this will only be visible by Oracle user, sorry, Himanshu user. Echo dollar class files. Okay, files. Okay. So you see now whenever the user connect any specific session, it will be, these variables should be seen for that user anywhere. So every time now I will log in, I will have two variables that are my custom defined, that is z equal to hello and export class file equal to this. Got it? Home directory of each user. Let's say if I want Bob, see Bob don't have any such entry because for Bob I have not done cat shift insert. See, there is no entry, they are specific to the users. Okay, got it? Now same thing you can automate more, right? So I will show you, you can try doing it in the assignment. Okay, let's say I want to automate it little bit more, so I can do anything whatever I want. So let's say I will try to do it here, echo and something else. I am just trying to print something, echo date. See, this is a script only, that it's a type of script only. So what I am doing, I am printing a first normal line. So this is a normal line, no command. Then I am printing a date for today. Okay, then I will print echo something like host name, and what would be my host name? I can use host name command. And here, here I will like echo welcome, and I will copy this line, yy paste. Okay, and save it. Got it? So here I am trying to print it more user friendly whenever the user connects. So and save it. Okay, now if I go exit here, again do Bob. So see, whenever the user connects, now there would be a welcome screen here for Bob, welcome Bob. So by default how it is knowing that this is for Bob? Because I have mentioned it dynamically. So it will pick the username, who am I, date and the host name that you are connected to this system. Okay, so this is something that you have automated. So now it will be shown for this user whenever Bob connects. So this part, if you go ahead and see ls-la, so if you want this part, you can copy this, copy, and you can copy this to particular users also. Let's say I want to copy it for Himanshu also. I will go ahead and insert it, yes, paste, and I have pasted it and I will save it. W. Now if I connect with Himanshu user, so see, whether I do SU, or I am connecting via SSH. So this will be coming for that particular user at the top. Clear? Okay. So this you try to do it. Okay. This also you try to do it. This is an assignment only. I have just shown you because this is the first time you are doing, so that's fine. Okay. So this way you can do. So this is very generic. Whatever I have written here is generic, right? I can use it, copy paste for any user, and it will be for that user only. Okay. I have never hard coded anything here in these any of these lines. Okay. So it is totally dynamic. Okay. Now next, now we have defined that in a file. Okay, we have defined that in a specific file. Now next, what we want, that I don't want to go define a bash profile. Okay, so many times in real time what happens, you don't want to define in bash profile. Okay, you want some custom environment files to be created. So when I am saying environment files, that means it is just a terminology that we normally use. Okay, so that environment file will contain all the environment specific variables, but those variables are custom variables. Those are not seeded variables, those are custom variables that I want to define. Okay, so how it will work? So let's say I go to cd shell script. Okay, so environment files normally when we create, so I will say my custom, whatever, it totally depends on environment to environment, whatever name you want to give, my custom.env, but I prefer to use an extension env, so that whenever I will see this file, I know that okay, this is an environment file that will be sourcing certain environment values, okay, or some variables. Simply it will be sourcing the variables. So I can go ahead and say and write something, export, let's say anything, variable train equal to shell script export class equal to, so variable names are case sensitive again, so whatever you are defining, same you have to use anywhere. Class equal to 8 AM. Okay, export students equal to Fred Rajesh. Okay, then export. So any case you give, but make sure that case has to be used. Okay, now what I then, I have defined it in a file and save it. Okay, so my environment file is saved here. Okay, now if I show you echo dollar trainer, no, nothing is defined, this variable is mentioned in this file, but that file, sorry, trainer, let's say, let me show you first, train trainer. Okay, so no value is defined here, but that is defined in my environment file now. So what I will do, simply I can go ahead and write to source this file. Now how to source this file? So that my environment variables are shut in the bash shell. Okay, so you can simply do dot space and the file name. Okay, dot and space file name. Got it? And hit enter. So see, it has set your environment variables, whatever you have defined. Now if I do echo dollar trainer, it is showing me, or let's say echo dollar students, okay, it will show me. So whatever I have defined, it will be available here. Got it? For sourcing, you are sourcing, dot and space is important. It's not like that what we were doing, dot, what we were earlier running the script, that is a different thing. Like we were running the script, right, first script, that is a different thing. Okay, so that is a different entity. Here what we are doing, here we are sourcing. So before sourcing you have to put a dot. Okay, so to source you have one more option, dot forward slash, and like this also you can do, but still this space and dot before that is required. And this dot and forward slash, what does this mean? What does this mean? This means dot means the present working directory and this file. Dot forward slash means it is the present working directly. Okay, that's why I am giving dot forward slash, that present working directory is the location from where you have to search for firstscript.sh. Same thing I am saying, dot forward slash, so that is my present working directory. Okay, so you can do like this also to set the environment, but by default remember, just simple, keep it simple, my custom environment, and set it. Okay, and that can be set in any environment. Let's say if I go to here, by default it is not defined trainer, so whenever I need I can set that environment. Okay, whenever I am doing some task, okay, whenever I am doing some task I can set, so I know, okay, my environment file is where, here. So I will simply go ahead, source the environment in new shell, and then if I do echo $trainer, you will find it here. Got it? No, anywhere, you have to just call it. Okay, you have to know where to call it. It is a file. Now to call a file you should know the correct path, right, from where you want to call it. By default, whenever we create a custom file or a custom environment file, we keep it at the home directory of the user only, so that whenever user connects, he or she knows that what I have to do. So you will see, okay, environment file is there, so mostly you have to source the environment. So many times the applications are there, various entities are there that you want to start, but to start those entities you need to set certain variables, environment variables. So before starting those applications you can create an environment file, set that, and then start those entities. Okay, so but this is not just that, okay, my custom environment is just a file. You can use it in different ways, just not for setting it. Okay, you can use it in different ways. Let's say I will show you one more example. Now let's say if I go at here, my first script is there, right? I will use that here now. Earlier I was just running the commands. Let's say now in this shell, in this specific shell, I want to call, whenever this script runs, I want to first source my environment variables and then I want to print them. Okay, so what I will do, I will simply go ahead and do, so I will do dot for sourcing space, dot and space is for sourcing. Okay, I will put dot and space, and then where is my custom environment file, what is the path, I will say user home directory shell underscore script slash and my custom dot env. Clear? This line is clear? Okay, so I am giving that, but make sure dot and space are important. And then let's say I want to print echo $, let's say trainer only, so I will print that. So this variable, from where now it will find it? It will find, because this is sourced here, I have sourced my environment. Now it will be able to find this particular variable value. So now if I say, if I run it, so see, it is now printing it at the last here, right? Now same way you can use it for multiple entities. Let's say I will remove everything, I will comment out all the other commands. Now if I have commented it out, let's say my environment file was having what entities. Okay, training. Okay, just a second, I will write it on a notepad quickly. Okay, so what I can do, echo class name is dollar train. Hold on. Sublime text to text. I will say echo is train echo batch timing is dollar class. It totally depends on you how you are using that. Stream names are okay. Now if I just enter like this, I will delete this line, insert, shift insert and paste these lines. Okay, now if I run this script, you will see automatically it has taken whatever you wanted. So whatever is defined in the custom environment file, or you can say custom variables, whatever you want to define. Environment file is just when you want to treat it as an environment variables, but if you want to treat it as some just variables or something, you can give any name. .env just I have given for my understanding. Okay, you can give it whatever name you want. Okay, and class name, so automatically it has taken the variables and the values from itself. Clear? Yeah. Yes. See, when the script is running, as I told, script runs every time. It's not like your normal other programming language where the compiler stores that value. Okay, so every time this script will run, it will run in a set of action items. Okay, it will not run directly. Not okay, just directly it will come to here, right? There is no main or something like that, main body. Okay, it will go in sequence. If I don't have this line, right? If I comment out this line, right? So my script will not know. Okay, because I have already sourced, and that's a global variable. Let's say I open in a new terminal. If I go to my see, it is blank because nowhere it is sourced. Okay, so a script every time it runs, so you have to think whenever a script runs it should source. You should not depend whether someone will source it manually. Okay, so when you are automating, so you have to think that nothing is there. You have to do right from scratch till end whenever the script or automation is being done, right? So it should be best possible that it should not fail any scenario, right? In this case it has failed this scenario. that if someone is opening in a new shell, it will not display any output, because it doesn't know what are those variables that it is asking me to interpret, right? So those variables are not there. Got it? So that's why it is important here to understand that how you are using them. Okay, so try to practice this today, these variables. Okay, now we will be using these many times. Okay, these things we will be using a lot many times now going forward. Okay, so you should be able to do that, how to call these variables. Okay, next tomorrow we will see the parameters, how we read parameters from the script, command line and user interactive parameters. Okay, along with that we will also see some advanced commands what are used for shell scripting. Okay, till now is it clear? Any doubts? Yes. Global values in multiple cells. See, export is basically more useful when your script is calling multiple scripts. Let's say right now we have done only one script, right? Let's say my script has a child script also, then into this call another child script. That means each script will run its in our own bash shell, right? Just now what example I showed you, x was defined as 10 or z was defined in one shell, but when I go to next shell that value was not there if it was local. But if it was global, even if you call multiple scripts, right, in a new shell, that will be called in a new shell, so that time also that variable will hold it true. Got it? Yeah, so that's why normally I prefer to use export. You can use without export also, that's not a problem, but that will remain local then. Okay, so try to practice it, try to like do these things what I have shown you today, and this part also try to do it. I think you have 2-3 users, so try to do for 1 or 2 users this is specific part, or you can customize more. If you want to customize it a little bit more, you can see how you can add more details if you want. Okay, so this is also a type of a script only. Okay, this is also a script only. Everything whatever you are writing, whether in bash profile or something, it is running as a script only. Okay, so don't get confused that bash profile.yaml file is anything different. It is just a way of segregating. What I can have done, whatever variables I have defined here, right, I can simply write here. Let's say last thing I will show you, whatever I am defining here, right, in this script, I can simply copy it here and just go to my first script, and rather, because this is a line I have commented, I will simply paste it here, and I will simply paste this variable here also. It doesn't need that you need a custom or say separate file for the variables, but as a good practice we use it so that we know where are the variables. So from one place I can pull all the variables. But if you don't want to keep separate files, you don't want to maintain multiple files, you can define the variables here itself in the same script and you can simply run it. Then you don't need to worry whether that custom file is there or not. It will print here directly. Got it? Okay, so it totally depends on how you want to use them. Okay, so try to practice. I will send assignment also in some time. Okay. Then try to practice this much today, and then we will see. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Bye.